Why, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase 2022. Thank you so much for all your patience as we work through a few tech things behind the scenes. We appreciate it so much, and hopefully things are all sorted now. So just to get you all caught up on what we have been doing tonight, we have been showcasing incredible women in speedrunning and showcasing games, video games in general, all sorts of games, as we raise money for Rethink Breast Cancer. Now listen, I challenged all y'all to hit $1,200 before the end of last run, and we are at $1,233.03. This makes us well on the way to $1,300 raised for Rethink Breast Cancer, which is absolutely amazing. Great job, everybody. Let's keep it up. So we had a $20 donation from Rose as Romeo, who says, "Awesome runners and awesome cause. And awesome donators." Big round of applause for everyone who has been supporting this amazing event. We are so happy to have you. So we have an incredible evening still lined up for all of you today. Next up, we have a Superliminal all collectibles run by Sapphire. So let's go over there and see what incredible wonders are waiting for us. Take it away.
The end of your countdown, I will press that transition button. So Oz, that's all you then.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Hello, everybody. The voice you are currently hearing right now is not Sapphire Rose. Sapphire will not be speaking today. I'm going to be doing the commentating for her. And my name is Ozmourn. You might have remembered me from the Stonefly run yesterday that I commentated for. But the person you are seeing play on screen is in fact Sapphire. Say hello, Sapphire. And while she's saying hello, we do have another commentator, so kind of like a blind commentator here, if you mind introducing yourself.
Hello everyone, it is I, Happy Bear. Not content with my showcase today, I have broken into the commentating team for this run, and I'm super happy and excited to be looking at Superliminal, which I have never seen before in my life. So this will be an adventure that I am going on with chat, and it's going to be super exciting. So this is going to be awesome.
All right. So the category that we are going to be doing today is all collectibles. It is a completionist category of this game, unless you count all achievements. That's a true completionist category, but currently we are going to be playing all collectibles. All of the collectibles includes fire extinguishers, fire alarms, chess pieces, constellations, and blueprints. All of those really sound strange out of context, but you will get context for them, I promise. As you saw there, Sapphire had to reset all of the collectibles that is required before each run, and so just for verification purposes. And so yeah, we're going to start off with induction. That's going to be the first level here. We're not going to start time when we enter the level, but rather we're going to start time when we walk through the first door. So whenever Sapphire is ready, she can go ahead and begin. All right, so I'll give her a small countdown. It's going to be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So the main thing about this game is that perception is reality. Now, what exactly does that mean? It means that the player can physically manipulate the objects to make them bigger or smaller, however big or small they perceive them to be. And because of that, Sapphire is able to do amazing glitches such as this one. Perfect. So as you can see there, Sapphire just did something called an out of bounds launch. And essentially what she did is that she made the object so big that there's no space between her or the object, and there's no space between the object or the ceiling. And in that, the game really does not like it when two objects are taking up the same amount of space. And so it's going to get rid of one of them. In this case, it got rid of her and launched her out of bounds, and so she can fall back inbounds and navigate through the out of bounds section so that she can collect that first collectible, which was the blue pawn. And that's just an example of the one kind of collectible that we're going to have in this game. And the rest of the level is mainly just glitchless movement, that standard movement that we see in glitchless. This is the most popular category. But at the very end, we're going to make a few detours to get some more really cool collectibles. But in this room right here, the sign room, you're going to see a pretty good example of how some things just line up for us. And in that sign that we perfectly put there in order to line up on both buttons. And another example here of a glitchless way that we kind of take advantage of the physics in this game is whenever you drop an item. Oh, that is a trick that I haven't seen before. I thought she was going to use the cheese.
Oh, wow, she's surprising us with new tech even in this round. That is so cool.
Yeah, exactly. And you saw her there is that there was a little ledge, invisible ledge, that she took advantage of that kind of pops out of the level geometry right there. And so she used that in order to get over to the other side of the pit and get the blueprint. And that is the end of induction. And this next level is called Optical. As the name implies, it's going to be all about optical illusions, but the main thing they're going to see here is a really good examples of her going out of her way to get fire extinguishers and fire alarms. And it is going to be something that she frequently goes out of her way to get, and especially for beginning runners, all these minor collectibles, which is what we refer to them as, is probably one of the biggest sources of time loss, just being able to maintain your momentum and speed while, fluidly going out of the way to get collectibles and such. Right here, you're going to see her do a little vault onto this lamp right here so that she can get onto that wall and go to the other side to get the blueprint. The intended way is supposed to be making a sign like really big and using it as a ramp. And so we don't have time for that. And right there was an example of just, sometimes the game just doesn't want to cooperate. You think that you collected a collectible, but in reality you didn't. And so right here, we're going to line ourselves up perfectly so we can get that optical illusion where we had a cube painted on the wall and now becomes physical object. And right here is going to be quote unquote the first intended skip, I suppose. What is here is a jump resizing, in which Sapphire is jumping and then physically resizing a object underneath her. So just jump, click, click. And in that, that is actually supposed to be something that was originally an intended mechanic, but the developers decided not to put in the game. And right here, you're going to see her doing another glitch called a warp launch, in which she makes an object so big, she then turns it into herself so that it becomes the size of the level itself, and then she lets go of it, and it launches her upwards. I'm going to go a bit more into detail as to how that works when we get more in-depth with it later. And as you can see, there is a cube at the top of this constellation room because, again, the entire level she made the object so big that the entire level was affected by it, and every prop was just warped to a random location. And so that's kind of giving you a basis of how big you make the object when you do a warp launch. And so right here, we're going to go out of our way to get some more collectibles and do some more jump resizing. And in this room, she's also going to be using this green king in the same fashion that we used the first collectible in order to launch herself upwards, because the game just does not like it when you and an object share the same space. And that's going to be a common theme you see throughout this run in terms of the glitches. We're going to try and make use of that in glitchless ways and also non-glitchless ways. But as we're walking on this catwalk, Happy Bear, is there anything that you want to say now that we've gone through?
No, I was just going to ask, what or how do you know if an object can be resized or not? Can anything be resized, or is it just certain objects, and how do you know?
Anything that you can interact with, you can resize. Anything that has little hands on it, you can resize. And so what Sapphire is going to be doing here, after she grabs the moon, as any natural human being would do, she's going to resize this can and make it incredibly big, and once again launch out of bounds with it, or not out of bounds, but through the roof with it, so that you can collect this collectible and then walk through it. And that's going to be the end of the level. Each level is going to end with this little hallway sequence.
This is so trippy.
It is. especially I love seeing people's reactions to just never seeing this game before, and so it's a really nice experience.
Yeah, chat is sorry, just real quick. Chat is really loving the constellation rooms, and those are extremely pretty. Kudos to the game designer who put those on.
Yeah, definitely. It's a beautiful room. And speaking of which, before we get into the real meat of cubism, right here, we're going to go and get this constellation. If you can guess what it is, I'll give you 3 bounty points. It is a mug. If you guessed a mug, you're a star in my heart. You get 3 bounty points.
This is an
and
message for all patients who attempted to use
now that we're getting to the real meat of cubism, of course, is as the name implies, all about cubes. But ironically speaking, we actually don't use cubes in the first section of this run. And you're gonna see that here as an example. You're gonna grab that collectible, and then she's gonna use that pole in order to get up here instead of using like the cube. And so right here, she's gonna grab a collectible through that vent. There's no collision on that vent, so you can just grab the collectible straight through it. There's supposed to be a chest piece there, but that's just something that I don't know how you're supposed to grab that casually. I've never had to grab that casually. But she's actually going to perform something called a vault clip right here, in which she takes abuse of the level geometry by ledge grabbing onto a piece of the level geometry that is outside of the bounds. And because the when you're doing a ledge grab animation, the game does not check for any collision, and so theoretically, if you can manage to ledge grab at any point towards a wall, you can just ledge grab and clip out of bounds at any point. But in this sliding room, she's going to grab one more blueprint, and then she is going to go into this next room in which you think there's going to be a normal cube, and then surprise, she has to use the side of the cube instead. And only in this patch will that side of the cube ever stay completely balanced. In modern patches, it does not. And so she is playing on a specific version for that purpose, and also for another purpose that we're going to see later. And so she's going to take this large end of the cube and do another warp launch, in which she makes it just so bigger than the level itself, and then lets go of it. And again, another good example as to how that affects the level is that all of those sides of the cubes that fell apart on the floor are no longer there because they got warped away. But now we're done with cubism. There's a good amount of collectibles in each level, and cubism is a really good example of a bit of each. It had like two chess pieces, 2 blueprints, a constellation room, and a lot of different, of course, fire extinguishers and fire alarms. But if the host wants to say anything right here, there is going to be a constellation room that we need to collect before, and this is going to take some time. So if the host wants to say anything real quick, she can.
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually have a $20 donation from Jason LaRose, who says, getting the scales tipped in favor of Dusa because an empty scale is a sad scale. Oh, English is hard. Oh my gosh.
Hello.
So that brings
Dr.
the
Glenn
Dusa Lurk
here.
emote
And
up
despite
in the lead
clearing
for
the
Scala's
waterfall
art showcase
side
tomorrow
in the previous
morning.
section
So
you've
let's
just
see if we can get
completed,
that bid war
you
going.
may still be experiencing feelings of
Right.
worthlessness
Thank you. And
self-doubt.
in this beginning section of Blackout, she is going to do some movement that I find to be very awkward, but she's mastered it very well, in which she is walking kind of like diagonally, but because she doesn't want to go totally towards this the fire extinguishers, so she doesn't want to lose that much time, but she wants to be just within range of it so she can collect them. And so she's much better at the movement than I ever will be. I find it to be very awkward, but I guess I just have to get used to it. But in Blackout itself, before that, she's going to do another glitch right here in which she clips an item through an object barrier. Dang, that was really good. I'm surprised you got that first try. I almost never get that first try. Or at least not that specific clip, but she's going to do it again. This next clip, in my opinion, is easier to manage. But you can also use the door itself to clip the canister through. And so that's a bit more consistent. So you don't have to do it yourself. And the reason that we need this canister and that she's giving it through is because we're going to perform another warp launch. And this warp launch is very interesting because once she gets through this next area, she's going to use it in order to skip some stairs sequences and walk out of bounds and ledges. And so she can just warp launch like that, She got a really high warp launch, unfortunately. Sometimes you just don't want that to happen. The optimal warp launch is just to launch you upwards, and then so you can land on the out of bounds geometry immediately. But she's going to grab this sign, and guess what? We're going to do another warp launch with this one. But this one is very interesting. We have a name for it. It's called a Red Out. And so you're going to see her warp launch in order to get higher and up on these boxes and collect this chess piece. But when when you perform a warp launch and you let go of the object, it's so big that there's like a deletion plane underneath the level that deletes any objects and then respawns them if it hits them, in case an object goes out of bounds. But the volumetric gliding of the object actually doesn't like disappear, and so the rest of the level from now on is going to be just bathed in this red light. And so that's a very interesting. It's a very cool effect. And so that's a side effect of this specific warp launch. But it does lose its effect if you reach that checkpoint, which you will do. She's going to take this can of beans because it's Sunday and they're serving beans, and she's going to use it again to launch herself upwards. A bit of different kind of launch there, but it still has the same effect. And so now that is the end of Blackout. And the entire theme of Blackout was supposed to be like, oh, the tone of the game kind of shifts to a horror game, and the player now, might feel a bit terrified about the game. And I've seen casual players who have felt legitimately terrified about this level. But at the end of the day, there's nothing to be afraid of, and it turns perception as reality into a different light, as the level is only as scary as you perceive it to be. But that's kind of like the casual perspective of it. And right now we're going to be going straight into clone. And as the name implies, of course, she is going to be cloning objects. But ironically, the first puzzle in clone doesn't actually involve cloning stuff. She is just going to, it kind of subverts your expectations because you think it's going to be a regular level here. And then the next puzzle is actually going to involve cloning objects. But as you can see here, it's a really nice movement by her going out of the way to get some of these fire extinguishers, and there is a radio station that you can change music to, and as you can see here, the fire alarms in this particular level are very interesting because you can grab them from any distance. Unlike regular fire alarms, you have to grab them from a specific distance, but in this level, the fire alarms, you never actually pull them, you just duplicate the lever, you just clone the lever, and so you can grab them from any distance because of that. And right here, she's going to do something called a jump launch. Interestingly enough, clone is the only level in which you can look straight down, and because of that, when she resizes that clock and then puts it underneath her, she jumps and then immediately left clicks, and the clock will just push her upwards. But now we have a little smiley face as our crosshair. Say goodbye to the smiley face; it's gone. And the rules for cloning in this particular level are very inconsistent, in the sense that in some objects you can physically pick up and move around, and they will only clone if you drop them and pick them up again. But other objects, such as the apple in this red apple room, you cannot grab them. When you clone them, they will only just drop to the floor, and you can just repeatedly clone them. But that is most of clone. Happy Bear, is there anything that you wanted to mention so far?
We're getting some word in chat that avocados are kind of a recurring thing in this game, and so can you explain this game's obsession with avocados? We saw a poster saying "enjoy avocados" earlier, so what's the deal with that?
So if you, spoiler alert, if you collect all of the blueprints in this game, you unlock a secret room, and in that room there is an actual physical avocado that you can interact with. You can actually glitch and warp with the avocado, but we haven't found a reason to do it in a speedrun. I don't know if Sapphire is going to show it off after the run ends, but if she does, we'll get to see it. If she doesn't, you just have to see it for yourself. But right here is Dream Soda. If you guessed vending machine for that constellation, you get 7 brownie points. And interestingly enough, you probably remember that in this hallway there is always going to be a fire extinguisher and a fire alarm, but she did not grab the fire alarm. The reason being is that because the fire alarms in this particular level are a bit broken, in the sense that 3 of them are connected to 3 others. So if you pull one fire alarm, you're going to be able to pull another fire alarm in another part of the level. So she skipped 3 fire alarms because the game still considers them as collected, despite her never actually having pulled them. We have tried to... Oh, she pulled a hippie. She pulled a hippie. I'm sorry. She accidentally went right instead of back. So look at that. We all do it once. We all do it once. It happens to the best of us. But right here at the beginning of Dollhouse, she is going to collect another constellation. If you can guess what this constellation is, I will give you 12 brownie points. If you guessed chair, you're a special person in my heart. You get 12 brownie points. But these constellation rooms are absolutely beautiful. There's one in every level, except for the first one. And so, highly recommend checking this out and just listening to the music in this section as well. Dollhouse is a bit different at the beginning. You have to go backward instead of to the right. And also there's this theater room that's very beautiful, but we don't have time to admire it because you have things to collect. And Dollhouse itself is a very annoying level in the glitches category. I don't know if that's the same in Sapphire's opinion for the all collectibles category, but essentially the main mechanic behind Dollhouse is that you are physically resizing portals that you go through, and therefore you are resizing yourself. And so when you walk through a portal like this one, you can see that she is moving slower because she is smaller because she made the portal bigger. And so it's kind of like a love-hate relationship, or like a give and risk-reward kind of relationship. You don't want to make it too big, because if it's too big, you're going to be moving really slowly because you're so small. But if it's too small, you will not be able to fit through the portal at the other end, because usually the other portal requires you to be smaller. And so that's just a really weird relationship that you have to have while still doing it fast. In this Jenga tower room, we're going to play some Jenga, and by playing Jenga, I mean just completely losing a Jenga. We're going to knock the Jenga tower down in order to get through this portal, and this is a very precise room when she's going to resize this window and then go through it. And this is a trick that I found, and it's the only trick that I found in this category. And and she's not going to do it. That's just disrespectful. That's just rude. I'm so sorry. You can resize. You can go into the portal and then back out, and everything in the level will resize you back to size 1. And so you can the objects will be smaller, and it will give you a shorter amount of time to travel towards them. And she probably didn't do it because it's like she could tell me that it's like not faster, and I believe her. I was just messing around there. But this is at the end of Dollhouse here. She's gonna resize that bouncy castle in order to get onto that plank, and now she's going to be doing something called Arc Skip, found by our friend Archmage, in which she actually is going to resize this portal and then put it through the ceiling and put yourself out of bounds, and clip back inbounds in the final room of the game in order to collect the last blueprint. If you make objects really small and then put them towards the ceiling in certain areas, you can actually clip them out of bounds. And when you walk through the other portal that leads to that, you can clip inbounds and skip certain sections. And there's going to be a really good example of that in the final level, White Space. But before we get to White Space, we have to do the Labyrinth. And right off the bat, we're going to go into another trick in Labyrinth called audio skips. And what audio skips do is they skip audio, surprisingly, if you could believe it. And so this hallway right here is lined with 5 audio triggers. And these 5 audio triggers, we found a way to skip 3 of them, but only skipping 2 of them actually saved any time. And so, oh, she got a bonus soda. Look at that.
A bonus soda? Oh my god.
A bonus soda. This run is blessed. So she's gonna, as you can see right here, she is physically jumping over 2 of the audio triggers in order to skip them. And so she is she wants to get to this last audio trigger as fast as possible. And the reason she wants to do that is because at the end of the audio trigger, she'll be teleported to the rest of the level, and so she can progress. And so that is what audio skips are. And in this next section, she is going to be lining herself up with certain visual cues on the wall, and because the game is going to teleport you back to the main bedroom in order to hit the alarm clock 3 times. And so she can just line herself up with certain parts of the wall, because when you get teleported back, your horizontal positioning changes, but your vertical positioning doesn't. And as you can see here, she's actually trying to hit them while walking backwards, which is a thing that I cannot do. I'm not good enough at that. I have to actually physically hit them before I walk backwards, because the door won't open until you actually hit them. And now she's going to be doing a frame perfect trick. Nope.
Hello, my name is Dr. Glenn Pierce.
Get it? Because she perfectly went through the frame.
Standard orientation.
Oh god.
Uh-huh. We love puns here. Shout out to Hippienator for that. And so right here is another good example of just trying to do good movement while collecting all these minor collectibles here throughout the hallway. And she is very clean with the movement here. And right here, she's going to be doing a door launch in which she hugs herself up against the wall and has this door launch down on her. And then she's going to jump into this sideways room right here and collect 2 more collectibles. Okay, and throughout the rest of the labyrinth, she is going to go on her way to collect collectibles. The entire field of labyrinth, subverting your expectations. And here in these next rooms are really good examples. You're supposed to line up with a hand on the wall, thinking that it's going to turn into a cube, and then surprise, you just fall down. And we also have stairs here, and you use them to just go through the floor. What did you expect to use stairs for? I mean, I think that's a logical explanation here. And in this next room, it is the hardest puzzle in the game casually. If you know the answer, it is the easiest thing in the world, but this is the hardest puzzle casually. I say that, but I did mess up to this in my PB, and so you need to look the opposite direction that the sign is telling you to look, because whichever way you look first is going to have a stop, do not enter sign. And the second way that you look is going to have a door, and you want the door to be in the direction that the arrow is pointing. And in this next room, she's going to do something called a slide launch, in which she slides this cube down and then uses it to launch herself upwards. Can she get the ledge grab? She did! We'd love to see it. That ledge grab is super inconsistent for me. That's very impressive that she got it right now. But right here, she's going to do another launch with this knight in order to launch herself upwards and then collect this. Oh, horsey, please cooperate with us. Cooperate with us, horsey. Come on, you have a show to put on. Oh, okay. She's not gonna launch with it. She's just gonna do the small backup. That's an interesting movement and backup that I've never seen before, but it's probably much more consistent than what I do. And so she's going to just grab those collectibles, and then she's going to grab a dive from really far away in order to get teleported to the next room. And as the chat tries to guess whatever this constellation is going to be, Lana, you can say some more words if you would like.
Yeah, totally. I've got words. So we are well on our way to meeting a massive incentive that we have in place for tomorrow. If we hit $500, and we're at $295, so almost at the 300 mark, we will see a WWE 2K19 30-person Royal Rumble. So just over $200 more to hit that, and I can guarantee it's going to be amazing. So let's aim for that, everyone.
All right, absolutely amazing. In this next room, she's going to be teleported to a few more places, but then she's going to grab a checkpoint and then turn around. You need to grab the checkpoint. It's very important that you do, because after you grab this alarm clock, you can just reset checkpoint instead of having to walk all the way back. And now she's going to be doing something called elevator maze, in which she walks through an elevator. There's a specific pattern for this elevator maze. It is back, left, right, left, right, left, back. A lot of people think that maze is RNG, but the actual casual solution is to just get lost in the maze until arrows tell you where to go. But we have a set pattern that is objectively the fastest. And in this room, she is going to activate walls. You think this is a parking lot, but surprise, it's a room. And you don't actually have to be activating, to be facing the walls in order to activate them, because once all of them pop up, boom, a room in the middle of this room pops up, and she's going to be climbing on top of it to grab the last blueprint and then end the labyrinth. I will put a flashing lights warning for white space, because there is a lot of movement and glitches that happens in white space. But she, first of all, what Sapphire is going to do is she's going to resize this clinic, put it really small, and then put it out of bounds. Oh wait, no, she's going to do Jungle's Bistro first. She told me about this, and I completely forgot. Jungle's Bistro first, and so, just barely making it into Jungle's Bistro. She's going to be grabbing a small little pawn here for Jungle's Bistro. And that's pretty much all there is in Jungle's Bistro. But now she's going to do what I think she's going to do, and she's going to activate the portal, and then resize this thing very small, and then put it out of bounds the way that we said in DOS. And then at the other side of this portal, she's going to exit, and now she's suddenly at this section, right above where the first part of the level was in the physical level geometry. She's going to put that clinic through a door in order to resize back to size 1. Essentially, the way that works is that there's a sequence called Paradox, in which you were supposed to put a portal into itself, and in order to prevent soft locking, the developers have it so that whenever you put the portal into itself, you resize back to size 1. However, that actually works for any portal in the game. And so we take advantage of that in multiple instances, including another instance that Sapphire is going to do after collecting this blueprint. And after this, she's going to walk through here and grab another blue chest piece at the bottom of this vending machine. And then she's going to go out of bounds here by putting this clinic through and actually at the end of the level now. And once again, she's going to resize it very small. She's going to grab that blueprint and then try and grab the clinic again if she can find it. There she goes. And then put it through that door to become back to size 1 and then go and collect this chest piece right here. And so there's going to be, that is the final chest piece, and we've collected the final fire extinguisher, fire alarm. We have one more thing to collect, which is the final constellation room. If you can guess what it is, you are going to be my best friend in my heart. Unfortunately, you should not get this rat trap. Can you guess what it is, Happy Bear?
I think it is the Lady Arcader's logo.
Oh, how I wish it was, but it's a piano.
Close enough.
It's close enough. And then finally, she needs to finish the game. And what she's going to do is she's going to do something called prop walk, which is the bane of my existence. So essentially, she's going to be putting this item out of bounds once more, just like we have been. And then she's going to walk backwards after going out of bounds with it. And then if she walks backwards, she's going to fall down onto another part of level geometry. And then she's going to walk forward and do a prop walk with it, which is essentially just jump resizing. And so the reason that she wants to do that is because just below where we put the item out of bounds is the end level trigger. And so what she's going to be doing, again, let's try it, see if we can get it second try. She's going to be walking backwards, falling down, resizing it, hitting the end level trigger, like, oh, yeah, this is an incredibly, I almost despise this trick because it's at the very end of the run, and it breaks my heart to like fail it, and it's truly something that hurts me. And Sapphire knows how much I hurt for this skip. But yeah, it's a very difficult thing to do because you actually can't see any of the level. Like, you can't see any of the level geometry. You just kind of have to hope that your setup is right. And it's very annoying at times. But hopefully we can get it once more. All right. Yeah, this is just it's quite the trick. It really is.
You know what? This Ozmourn, I think that this is just a real commentary on the human condition.
It is, isn't it?
Sometimes we just try to like drop entire houses on ourselves, which could be like trying to do really hard things. And we just do it and do it and do it. And it doesn't work. And then suddenly it does work. And we soft lock ourselves through 3 different levels. And we have conquered the thing that we tried to do. So, but things like that are a lot easier to do if we send energy. So everyone send energy. And in fact, I am seeing in chat right now that so many people have redeemed Take My Energy and the exclamation point energy command. And everyone believes in Sapphire. It is really heartwarming to see.
I do believe in Sapphire. This is a very hard trick, and the fact that she can even do it like once ever, or she can do it so much more consistently than I ever could, and so it's quite the trick to have to do at the end of the run.
I do believe in Sapphire. I do.
Yes, I do. Yeah, if only portal glitch was still a thing in modern patches, right? There we go. Perfect. Let's go. She got it.
Yay!
I'm just gonna come up when she hits the alarm clock. Time. Perfect.
Oh, that was quick.
That was a 28:04 that I saw, but let's see what the in-game time was. 28:09. I'm so sorry, the timer late.
Yes,
If that's the case.
timer started late, so it won't reflect 100% quite the right time.
Oh, okay. Fair. All right, great. But 28:09 IGT is really good. Is still pretty good. And absolutely amazing run. Sapphire here She gave me a list of shoutouts that I need to look at so I don't do a disservice to her and say the wrong things. So she wants to shout out the Superliminal community, of course, and more specifically, she also wants to shout out like Hippienator for helping her push her to like the limits when it comes to this category. And because of him, she was able to literally grind on this category, and Hippie was able to give her the motivation to like really make the category what it is today, pretty much. And so she, of course, shout outs to everyone else in the Superliminal community who has contributed to this speedrun. Again, I don't want to name names because like I'm going to forget somebody, but she did want to shout out Hippienator specifically. But if you are interested in this amazing speedrun, it's really, really fun to do. It is really fun to do. I mean, most of the speedruns in this game are pretty fun to do, unless you want to torture yourself and start with any percent. In which case, if that's your cup of tea, go ahead. We have a wonderful community. You can find us on Spiro.com, on Discord, all that jazz. And we are more than happy to have new people. And let's all join Sapphire and all collectibles because it's a wonderful category, and I highly recommend it to anyone who's looking for something. A completionist category, a glitch category, and like a movement heavy category. It's a very intense speedrun in a lot of cases, but it's very rewarding. But that is if I remember correctly, that is the shoutouts that Sapphire wanted to make. I don't know if there's anything that you want to say, Happy Bear, now that we've concluded.
I do want to just say this is an extremely impressive run, and the perspective bending is super, super neat, and I've been inspired to put this game on my list of games to play, which I think is a tribute to how interesting this game is. I want to shout out the tech crew again for being fantastic during the run, for helping to track down a whole bunch of audio issues, and definitely Ozmourn. I think it's really cool that you know so much about this run, and I'm really glad to have been a part of this. But I do have to say, Ozmourn, I think you need to go to jail because your puns are super criminal.
Oh yes, I do love my puns. We love our puns in the Superliminal community. Sometimes they like to act that they don't, but they do. But yeah, that is all for Superliminal All Collectibles. You can see that Sapphire is currently messing around in one of the rooms that like when you collect all the collectibles, this is one of the rooms that it unlocks. There's a lot of stuff that she actually hasn't done in this game that All Collectibles doesn't do. There's a challenge mode. There is a lot of other achievements that you didn't get in this category. And so there's still much, much more about this game to discover, and I highly recommend picking it up for yourself. And she's not going to show everything that the collectibles unlock, so I highly recommend that you do that yourself. And, really pick up this game, get into it, join the community, all that jazz. And that is it. This has been Sapphire Rose with All Collectibles, and my name has been Ozmourn. And thank you so much to Sapphire for having me on commentary. Of all the people you could have chosen, you chose me, and I feel very honored for that. So yeah, that is all, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Enjoy the next run, enjoy the arcaders, and please donate. It would mean a lot.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to Sapphire and to the commentary crew. Everyone, can we get another round of applause for that incredible Superliminal run? I was so impressed by it. I don't know about you, but it was absolutely incredible. So we have some more runs coming up soon, so stick around. All right, so if you are wondering what is up on the schedule next, let me catch you up. So it's going to be a bit as we get set up for this run, but if you love Hades, you are absolutely going to want to stick around for this 3 weapons modded run by Mads Brutal. It is going to be absolutely incredible. Hades is always a crowd pleaser, so you will definitely want to stick around for that one. If you are just popping in and you're wondering, now what's going on over here? What are we up to? What kind of shenanigans is going on this stream? Well, welcome. This is the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase 2022. And the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase is an all-women's charity talent showcase event running this weekend from September 23rd to 25th, benefiting Rethink Breast Cancer. The Super Showcase will feature a bunch of talented women showing off games that they love. You have already seen some incredible runs so far, and we still have a couple left this evening and more into tomorrow. So you will absolutely want to be around for today and tomorrow as we continue to raise money for Rethink Breast Cancer. So Rethink Breast Cancer's mission is to empower young people worldwide who are concerned about and affected by breast cancer by taking a breakthrough approach to education, advocacy, support, community building, and fundraising initiatives. As more new, innovative, targeted cancer treatments are being developed, drug access continues to be an incredibly important aspect of Rethink's ongoing advocacy work. They continue working with other patient groups, coalitions, and cancer organizations to call for systemic change and more efficiencies through the process of drug approval and reimbursement. So if you are wondering what sort of things that your donations are going towards, then there's a couple of things there. So make sure to keep getting your donations in. We are already over $1,200 raised for Rethink Breast Cancer, which means we are well on our way to hitting $1,500. Do y'all think we can do that? I absolutely believe we can. So let's get those donations rolling in as we continue to raise money tonight. Now, speaking of some Hades love, I don't know if y'all have seen, so we were kind of talking about this earlier in chat as well, but you may have seen that there is an incentive open, and that is for Skallakitty's art showcase that is taking place tomorrow morning, or afternoon, whatever time zone you're in. You know what that is. So I believe in Eastern, it's about close to noon. So if you want to see an amazing art showcase, you will absolutely want to be there. And so with this art showcase, we are going to see an emote being drawn, and there's a couple options to choose from. Now, I'll let you know I am absolutely biased towards one of them, and you will never guess which one. I definitely have not made it obvious. So we have one emote for Ulala Info, which is currently sitting at $0, but we have Dusa Lurk at $20. So, if you saw what I was chatting about earlier, you do know how much I love Dusa. But I also love charity, and I love a good bid war. So let's get those donations in as we battle for which emote you would like to see Skallakitty drawing tomorrow morning, afternoon, evening time zone. So we are super excited to see all of your donations come rolling in, and we do have a couple other incentives that are up. We have an incentive that is open for the Zero Ranger color palette. So what I believe with this is with Zero Ranger, you can choose the color scheme of the game itself. I believe it's played in about in a couple different colors, the entire game there. So you can pick which one to see. Right now in the lead is Cool Day with $255. And from what I hear, that is a beautiful combination of blue and pink. It's absolutely lovely. And that one's currently in the lead with Green Orange at $100, so trailing a little bit behind, and Red Blue sitting at $20. There are two other options that are open as well, and that is either Holy Day, which I believe is red and green, so it's supposed to be like holiday, getting the Christmas spirit. I don't want to talk about it yet, though, y'all. We still have a few months before we get there. It's spooky time. And we also have blue and orange that are open up as well. So if you want to influence what colors are the main colors that we see in the Zero Ranger run taking place, that'll be right after Hades. So make sure to get those donations in if you would like to pick which color scheme you would like to see. That has to be done within about the next hour or so, all right? All right, we got this. Now, the last incentive that is currently open for a poll is the Say No More language choice. And right now with that one, you get to choose the language of the game. There's 5 choices here. Currently in the lead is Gaelic with $70 and Icelandic at $30. Now, that means that one $40 donation could catch Icelandic up with Gaelic. So, I don't know, if you really like Icelandic, then consider donating. And we also have French sitting at $15.50, a language very close to my heart. And English and Spanish are 2 other options that are also available. So those are the 3 polls that are currently open. And like I had mentioned before, we have a mega incentive that is open. It's sort of a Target-like incentive. So if we hit $500 raised by the time we get to the WWE 2K19 run tomorrow. So that's the final run of the marathon, all right? And that's looking to be around 7:30 p.m. Eastern at this point. But if we hit $500, and we are currently at $295. So listen, I always say I'm really bad at math, so whenever people want me to do math while I'm hosting, I want to cry. But I won't. But basically, that just means we have slightly over $200 left that we have to raise if you want to see a WWE 2K19 30-person Royal Rumble. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds absolutely chaotic. And listen, chat, I don't know if you have any chaos emotes going on, but I invite you to post your absolute favorite chaos emotes. Here, I'm getting mine out right now, okay? All right, get that chaos in chat. That is what it's going to look like tomorrow. If we have 30 people doing a Royal Rumble, I personally am very, very excited. So basically the description of that is, if this incentive is met, if we hit $500, and we're at $295 out of 500, HBK will showcase a Royal Rumble match with 30 wrestlers. Okay? All right? Isn't that wild? I personally am super excited for that one. So, once again, roll call. I know I just gave y'all a lot of incentives, but let's go over this, okay? Yeah, not $50,000. Wow, that would be amazing. Okay, chat, can we hit $50,000 raised for Rethink Breast Cancer by tomorrow? I believe in you. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are killing it. Let's go. So, incentive roll call. So, the incentives that we have open at this exact moment, make sure to check them out. We have, in order of when they will take place, the Zero Ranger color palette. Choose between Cool Day, Holy Day, Red Blue, Blue Orange, or Green Orange. Got it? Okay, next. Say No More language choice. Choose between Spanish, French, Gaelic, Icelandic, and English. Gaelic in the lead, Icelandic coming in for a smooth second place. If we can. I don't know. Let's get that battle going. And then, after that, we've got Scala Kitty's art showcase with emotes, where you can choose between either Ulala Info or Dusa Lurk. Once again, slightly biased, but Dusa Lurk is in the lead. And we've got Hades coming up next. So if you like Hades, if you like Dusa, I don't know, but I think I know what your donations might want to go to in the next little bit, eh? And then finally, the fourth incentive that is open is the WWE 2K19 30-person Royal Rumble. That's a lot of words, but there you go. That's all your incentive. Okay, now quiz, chat. Because Jason specifically asks. Okay, chat, all right, you ready? What was the second incentive chronologically that I just said? And like Oz was saying, brownie points. Brownie points for for whoever can get it. All right, there you go. Yep, just for you, Jason. Just for you. Just for you. All right, just wonderful. And yeah, so basically, we're getting all these donations in as we continue to raise money for Rethink Breast Cancer. It has been an absolutely incredible evening so far, and we still have much more coming up. So, I believe we are almost ready. You know what's up next on the docket, everyone? I've been chatting about it. Let's see it. Next up is Hades 3 Weapons Modded, featuring Mads Brutal. Hang on tight, everybody. We'll be back shortly with our next run. Catch you soon.